Today we're diving into a view of the universe that is so different it challenges pretty much everything we know about modern astronomy. It comes from Abdallah Boufim, and it's a worldview built on a pretty unique mix of physics and scripture. So let's keep an open mind and see what this impossible cosmology is all about.
So, right out of the gate, the source makes its position impossible to ignore. I mean, we're not just talking about questioning a few details here. This is a flat-out rejection of one of the most famous moments in human history.
And you've got to ask, right? How on earth could anyone justify a claim that big? Where do you even begin to build a case for something like that? Well, let's unpack the logic one piece at a time.
Okay, so this whole argument really boils down to one single foundational idea. It's the bedrock for everything else, and if you accept it, well, everything we think we know about space travel starts to completely unravel.
And here's what it is. The big idea isn't that getting off our planet is hard or expensive or even super dangerous. Nope. The claim is that it's physically, absolutely impossible for any human-made object to escape Earth's atmosphere. This one idea, this is the key that unlocks this entire model of the universe.
So, why impossible? Well, this isn't just some vague hand-waving. The theory points to very specific physical barriers. Let's dig into the numbers and the concepts behind what the author calls the atmospheric barrier.
Okay, first up, according to this model, the highest any satellite can possibly go is just 36 kilometers. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that's actually lower than where the old Concorde jets used to fly. We're talking well inside what mainstream science calls the stratosphere.
And what about rockets? Well, even for the most powerful rocket you can dream up, the author says there's a hard stop, a ceiling, at 200 kilometers up. And the reason? A massive, invisible, repulsive force that just pushes everything back down.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. You take that 200-kilometer rocket ceiling and you compare it to the size of the atmosphere in this model, which is said to be over 400 kilometers thick. What do you get? A huge, uncrossable gap, a kind of no man's land between where we can go and where space really begins.
And this idea really gets to the heart of the atmospheric barrier. It's described as a one-way door. Think about it. Things like meteors can get in from space, but nothing we make can get out. The source even compares the atmosphere to honey. It seals itself back up, and that powerful repulsive force from above means you're just not getting through.
All right, so if we're basically stuck inside our own atmosphere, what does that mean for the moon, the sun, the planets? This is where the whole thing blows up into a totally radical new vision of the cosmos. In this view, our entire solar system, the sun, the moon, all the planets, they're all traveling inside a physical structure called the lowest heaven. It's not just empty space out there, it's a defined cosmic zone. But honestly, the craziest part isn't the structure itself, it's the scale of it all.
Get ready for this. The author calculates that the minimum distance from us to our moon is over 550 light years. Let me just repeat that. Light years. Mainstream science puts the moon at about 1.3 light seconds away. This isn't just a small correction. We're talking about a completely different universe.
And that right there brings us all the way back to the beginning. This is why the moon landing is called a flimsy lie in this model. I mean, if you accept this distance as real, then a trip to the moon isn't just hard. It's a journey that would take centuries, even if you were traveling at the speed of light. It becomes a true, undeniable physical impossibility.
But wait a minute. Where in the world does a number like 550 light-years even come from? Well, the answer isn't from a telescope or a satellite. The argument is based on a very specific reading of religious texts. This specific verse from the Quran is the key. The author doesn't see this as a metaphor about time or divinity. Instead, it's interpreted as a direct physical measurement. It's almost like using the time it takes for an echo to return to figure out how far away something is.
Okay, so let's break down the math here step by step. First, that 1,000 years mentioned in the verse, it's taken to mean the total time for a round trip, from heaven down to earth and all the way back up. Simple enough. So the one-way trip has to be half of that, which is 500 years. Then comes the big move. The author interprets that unit, years, to mean light years, the same unit we use to measure cosmic distances today.
And to back this up, the author brings in another piece of evidence. It's a hadith. That's a recorded saying or tradition of the Prophet Muhammad. This text also talks about a 500-year journey between the earth and this lowest heaven. So in this view, you have two different sacred texts that seem to line up perfectly, giving the same cosmic measurement.
Okay, so let's pull all this together.
You've got the barrier we can't escape, these massive cosmic distances, and the textual evidence. What you end up with is a picture of a universe that isn't just big, it's structured, it's regulated, and for us humans, it's completely off limits.
The final picture here is of a guarded cosmos. The atmosphere is basically a one-way shield. The heavens themselves have actual physical doors, with angelic guards protecting them. It's so strict that even the angel Gabriel has to ask for permission to pass through each level. And other beings, like the jinn, supernatural entities in this tradition, they might be able to get into our atmosphere, but they get blasted away from the heavens by stars and meteors, which act like cosmic security guards. It's a universe with very clear, very strict rules and a distinct chain of command.
You know, looking at a model like this, no matter what you personally believe, it really forces you to ask some pretty big questions. It's a powerful reminder that so much of what we take for granted as fact is really built on one particular way of looking at evidence. And it leaves you with this really fascinating thought to chew on. What if the rules of the cosmos were fundamentally different from anything we've ever been taught?